Hey there! You're listening to Sun Sister Podcast. This podcast is following my interrail trip across Europe during the spring of 2023. For 3 months, I interviewed women I met along the road to talk about their personal stories and women's rights in their country. Today, you'll be listening to Elena from Bulgaria. Elena is a space engineering student living in Germany. I met her on a hike to the summit of Mount Olympus in Greece. She was on holidays with 2 close friends and I was traveling with my roommate. We created a crew and bonded so much that we kept traveling in Greece and Bulgaria for 1 more week. After all these days together, we took time for the interview just before my night train to Istanbul. Be ready, because the entire interview is a powerful message and a call to action for a more feminist world. It was recorded on June 2023 in the backyard of my hostel in central Sofia. In this episode, we talked about Pride Month, online harassment, and the special moments of solidarity happening in the women bathrooms. Enjoy! So, Elena, welcome to this podcast. So, just to give some context to our listeners, so we're now in Sofia, capital country of Bulgaria, which is your home country. And I met you in Olympus mountain a week ago, actually, and we're still
at
here.
the whopping 2,100 meters.
And yeah, so we're now sitting in a hostel, just chilling.
Two random chairs in the back of some kind of random building.
It's not the fanciest interview.
It's quite cozy. Quite a lot of wooden interiors and 19th century hostel vibes.
True.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Enjoyable.
So, my first question for you would be, what is your inner weather today?
My inner weather? I would say it's quite sunny with a little pinches of clouds, not because I'm in any way in a bad mood, but just because I did not sleep quite enough. So basically because of that, it's like I'm quite happy and very content with the whole day until now. But it's just that I might need another coffee soon, maybe after the interview or so, to get it to full on sun mode.
Awesome. I love it. So you were born and raised in Bulgaria. Could you please tell us what is your life story?
I will try to sum that up in words. Yeah, I was born and raised in Sofia. I am a single child of my 2 lovely parents that are also of Sofia, and basically my whole family is from the region. I am studying aerospace engineering in Germany, and I have graduated one of the German language high schools in the capital, which is also pronounced to be one of the best state ones. And I live in Stuttgart. I am a hobby pilot. Like, I don't have the license for it, but I used to fly a lot.
You do, like, on your own you can fly
planes? On my own I can fly. I mean, not all planes, a certain type of plane, but yes, I can like do everything from start to landing through flying. And I'm very passionate for airplanes and music. Also, because of being raised in Sofia and in Bulgaria, I love food a lot and cooking a lot. Good beer is also an important moment.
That's why we've been eating for the past 2 days.
Yeah, literally, like, say your life story, me talking about food for 5 minutes. Well, guys, that's the good sum up of Bulgaria, literally. And loving good weather a lot as well. But yeah, my life story, I guess that's it. I mean, I'm 24 years old. I'm in the beginning of my master's in Germany, and have spent most of my life in Sofia so far. Always been curious about languages, other cultures, and...
You speak 4 languages, almost 5 languages now.
4 languages and a half, we could say, yeah. I learned in school German, obviously, because it was a German language school, Russian. Had English courses, our connecting language as a French and Bulgarian person. And because of my developed passion for Brazil, I also learned Portuguese, and I'm trying to improve that, so that's still half a language, not a complete one yet.
I'm sure it's really good.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, it has to get better. I can get on well now over time. I just got to practice a little bit more.
Well, thank you so much for sharing this.
Pleasure's mine.
Is there one thing that makes you vibrant in your everyday life?
Vibrant.
Vibrant, like something that makes you want to wake up every day. It can be food.
Happy emotion, like concentrated emotion, not even necessarily a happy one, but I would say I love emotion. I love, really, I do love food, definitely. Airplanes and good music. Like if I have to sum it up in some very simple things, like connection with other people is something that I really like, keeps me waking up, and just like spending some quality time with my friends.
And you're good at it.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, food and just being rooted, like being rooted in the things that I love that have not seemed to change too much over the years. Like the main ones have remained the same. Yeah.
Awesome. So last question about yourself would be, are you in touch with your inner child?
Oh, that's a very interesting question. I love this one. I would say I try to regularly make contact and find time for my inner child. I think it's something that you learn that you need over time. Like when you're 18, 19, you're not so conscious about it. But I do think that, I try to find time because I just need it. Like my inner child is like, if I don't pay attention to it for too long, it's like, hello, I exist.
I agree.
Like, I'm there, exactly. So it like gives you signals that you need to pay attention to it, and then it's like you're having, I'm not a schizophrenic person, but it does sound like you're having another person in yourself, and it's like, hello, like, I'm part of you, so maybe want to like have a harmonical life together and stuff. So yeah, like I definitely enjoy it, and I still try to not like get too adulty and like I don't know, like try and serious and go do your taxes and shit. So yeah,
that's awesome.
In a way, yeah.
So now focusing on Bulgaria, how would you describe the situation for women and gender minorities in your country?
That is a very complex topic that is driven by the geopolitical development of the country. But if I have to say, from what I have seen and experienced in the bigger cities at least, they're quite open and quite equal, and quite, I would say, you can't see like misogyny on the street or like somebody mistreating a woman in a way. Like this could not happen in, for example, or at least it could, of course, there's always a statistic that it could, but in general it's not a typical thing to see in Sofia and Plovdiv in like the bigger cities. But the smaller the city gets, or the people that could have moved from a very small city or village to the bigger cities, the bigger the tendency of these patriarchal norms is that has developed over time. And sadly, it does not always get updated with the place that you live in. Some people move to the bigger cities but don't always want to adapt to the ideas of it, the ideas of equality, the ideas of man being equal to woman, the ideas of not being in any way abusive towards another human being based on their organs, I guess, or how they're born. So yeah, I would say that of course, like we can enter in many areas of inequality, because it could also be, for example, like racism or homophobia. And
of course,
I could say that Bulgaria is a country that has certain levels of homophobia and racism spread throughout the older generations of people. From what I have seen, for example, like elderly people do look upon like people of different races that they see in the bigger cities in a different way. They're like curious. Sometimes you can hear some comments, but thank God they're in Bulgarian, so the people can't understand them, but they wouldn't like go and cuss at them in Bulgarian or something. Yeah. And homophobia is a thing that is due to the socialistic history of the country, from 44 till 89 of the past century. It has left its traces. Okay. And there is a good amount of homophobia going around. Now it's actually June. We're recording this in June, which is the Pride month. Indeed. And there's going to be Pride in 10 days approximately. Yeah. And as I had told you on the street earlier, like it's an event where there is police protecting the people of Pride, which says enough already about it. And there are always counter protests of traditional family value appreciators, or however you would call it, that are running parallelly to the Pride itself. And it's always a very heated situation, and it's always on the news, and people are always talking about it. So there is quite a lot of bias, and thank God with our generation, I would say it's getting better. except if the parents of the people are very radical and have taught them to be very radical as well. But yeah, like there is a certain outback that I hope will be cleared out in the next decade or two.
God, I hope.
Due to the generations changing, because it is visible and feelable, and you can't walk hand in hand with your partner of the same sex if
True, you told me.
in this country, yeah. Except if you're in Plovdiv, there maybe it is possible.
Really?
Yeah, it is. I would say the most artistic and in a way open-minded city. But I've also heard some quite brutal stories from there as well in the recent years, so I'm not even sure it's the place that I left when I moved to Germany. So I'm just really hoping that it's going to develop better over time.
What a perfect answer. And yes, you told me before that there is still no wedding possible for like same-sex marriage doesn't exist.
Same-sex marriage is impossible in our countries, and there are many organizations trying to offer, for example, support for young people that are outing themselves here in Bulgaria, because often they get rejected in a way by their family, or the family needs a lot of time to process this because it's not a common topic, and Bulgarian parents and grandparents don't really know how to react to this information. They don't understand it usually because we don't have independent media, which means that the main channels are mostly like there's everything is owned by politicians or like relatives of politicians, and what like the angles of the news like are always diverted in some way. The prism is diverted to fit the values of the political party or of those concrete individuals with money.
This is pretty bad, actually.
It is quite shitty indeed, and there's not much we can do about it. I mean, for example, Germany has developed this like tax that people have to pay for independent radio and TV. Every person has to pay it, and for that you do have like several sources of information there that are independent, and you can always read the actual news like from all the angles, from the side of the, for example, like for the war you can read the Ukrainian side, the Russian side, the European side, the Chinese side. Like you can read many informations about several topics, and we don't have that here in Bulgaria. I also don't think we'll have it anytime soon, which means if you want to develop a critical thinking and understand something that is outside of your scope of talking, because in Bulgaria it's not a topic you just sit down and talk about, like how it's totally normal and okay to be attracted to or have a relationship with someone of the same sex. So there are several couples that I know that have gotten married in like Malta or England or Germany and have came back to live here and are basically have filed like how do you say that, like I think it's a proposal to the courts, to the Bulgarian court, to try to accept their marriage in a way, because otherwise they are not really like married in this country. Here. Like they are married in Malta and in wherever this is recognized, but in Bulgaria they're like, yeah, okay, good for you that you have this paper, but it's not, doesn't do much here. Like it's still going to be like, for example, if one of them goes to the hospital, the other one would not be allowed to join them as a family member because they don't acknowledge it.
Oh, this is so fucked.
It is.
And sometimes the court recognizes it, or
it's a big fight. It's a big fight. I'm not sure like how the process is going, but I think it takes a lot of time, because also the prosecutor of our country is a corrupt guy that is very deeply rooted and bound with the most corrupt party that has been basically stealing a lot of money from the European Union for the past like approximately 20 years, and also the reason for which there are so many protests happening the last years and us having to go to elections 5 times and so on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Exactly.
Well,
a very big answer to a very big question. It's impossible.
For the better for this Pride month.
Oh, definitely. It does get better. Each year there are more and more people attending the Pride, which gives me a lot of hope.
I'm so hopeful too. Thank you for this answer.
You're welcome.
Do you remember like the first time you experienced gender inequality?
I have to think about it. I think it's hard to define like what exactly, like how far of the thing is gender equality. Each person has their own compass in a way for this, and their own way of seeing it. But I would say, for example, like whenever me and my parents would go and visit some of our friends and seeing like what the men's professions are usually in comparison to the women, you would see that like the men have like more prestigious, like I wouldn't prestigious in brackets because they're not like more prestigious. It's like
but they're
professions
given
that
more prestige,
like they get more money for sure, and like the women were in a way those housewives in a way that they're kind of like cooking and taking care of the house and working something to work, but the man is the one that has to bring money. Of course, thank God, not all of them are like that, and like just some of the people that my parents got to know through their professional path or so, and we've had to visit. I've been left with this impression, like, interesting that like the Bulgarian men always work stuff that like bring the money and have this like duty that they bring the money, but they don't take care of the house in many ways, exactly. And the women like have to cook, raise the children, and besides, like aside of working and doing everything because that the men do themselves, exactly. But their positions of the women are usually like lower ones, and I think like there are also like this has changed over time because I read somewhere, I think it was from Eurostat data that. The lowest income gap, like the lowest gap exactly of income between the sexes in the European Union is in Bulgaria.
Really?
Yeah, so I think that I also, for example...
Could be, of course.
Exactly, and later I also got to see, like when I got into school, for example, a positive example of many Bulgarian professors and people, women in science, which is something that I find to be bizarre because we do get taught, for example, like I study aerospace engineering, so we've been taught mainly about men doing things, like mainly about engineers and men and men and men and men. Our professors are men, and like my friends that decided to stay here in Sofia and study, and also in history we've been studying, like there have been many women in the Bulgarian Academies of Sciences, which is something I really appreciate, that nobody in Bulgaria says like women are dumber or like can't do science or like they're made for the kitchen and not for the laboratory or something like this. That's something that at least I appreciate.
That's good.
But when it comes to like income, because science here is not too well paid, sadly, it's something for people that really do appreciate it and have a passion for it, but it's not a well-paid job, sadly. But the ones with the higher income are mostly taken by by men.
Okay.
Yeah, by my position, or were at least when I was a child. Now I don't know anymore. Of course, like we also have to say, my most actual informations and observations are from Germany because I live there most of the time.
This is true.
But I still try to stay up to date. For 4 years approximately.
4 years,
Yeah, I moved 2018. Now I have 2023, so 5 years almost. Yeah,
that's awesome. Is there a way you address gender inequality?
A way I personally address it.
Yeah.
When I see it on the street, depending on the situation and on the people participating in it as well, I call it out usually. I speak about it. I don't stay silent about it because I know that staying silent won't change anything. And these people will think it's still okay to mistreat, mishandle complete strangers, because sometimes they're, for example, I don't know, drunk men in the tram or something, calling out after women, touching them. I've been touched on in the bus once when going home by, it was a very full bus. It was like the traffic hour when people were going back from work, and there was this guy that was like rubbing on me in the bus, and I was just terrorized. I was like, I'm gonna call the police. Yeah, and like such things, and it's a thing that could happen to you anywhere around the world, but I just think like the right thing to do, and it's not the easy thing to do, because you could get yourself some danger sometimes, like you could get yourself in danger sometimes, but it's the right thing to do. So of course, if I see like 3 skinhead men, probably not gonna say anything to just avoid conflict with 3 massive men as a only woman.
Put your life in danger, of course.
Exactly. But if I'm, for example, in the public transport or on a street full of people and I see something like this, I always go on, I'm like, hello, what are you doing? Like, what is going on here? Like, I always try to treat it.
Because honestly, like, I was once confronted to it in the south of France. And you know, you always think like, yes, of course I would act and I would like
not that every situation gives you the chance, no?
It is true, and I saw it and I was surrounded by, I don't know, maybe 10 people, and I couldn't act because it was not so obvious. It was like a guy following a girl and he knew her and she was telling him like to go away. Probably it was his boyfriend, or I don't know. And but she was almost shouting and she was like, leave me alone. And nobody
reacted in any way.
And that's the cool thing, is that if no one moved and you're like, should I do something?
Should I be the one to do something?
Yeah, maybe I'm intrusive, but obviously, like, if you would have been like even 2 or 3 persons just going there and telling the guy, okay, now just go home, leave this girl alone. Exactly. It was daylight and everything, but
it's better to get said to like, you're not the person to mess in with and like leave me alone, and to have tried at least, than to just like leave it be and leave the aggressor think that he can remain the aggressor. But still, not all situations can allow you to it, and if it's endangering for your health, or like it's just, for example, it could be a dramatic moment between a couple that they're just like screaming at each other and stuff. So I try to observe a bit and analyze how the situation is, and just try to decide on what to do. and you
that's
also
amazing.
seem to do it. So you also speak out the situations when you see them. You try.
Like before, I was even like answering to guys on the street. Then I learned that it was not the best because they could be very aggressive, and sometimes I also put my friends in danger because I'm answering them when they're like catcalling me. But no, I try to be careful. But yeah, this action was like 3 years ago actually, or 2 years ago. And I think now I would know how to react because then you can ask someone next to you, be like, okay, should we go together? Like a man could be nice,
like
because unfortunately a man would be more listening.
There is this like respect towards men in terms of like physical strength and like how much you like how bold and brave they are to reply to you depending on if you're with the man or not. Because that's the thing, like I think that is the so-called small d energy, which is like oh, I have a female against me as a man, I'm just gonna like go and violate her in all terms of way because she's just a woman, she can't protect herself in that way. And they forget that like there's exactly equal human against them, and not in terms of physical force, but in terms of many other things, actually even kind of higher.
True. So that's amazing that you act on the street. Okay, awesome. So is there one thing you're proud your country does for women and gender minorities? If you can think of one positive thing.
Let me think. I think like I don't want to repeat myself really, but because it's such a fresh thing that we just talked about, is the women in sciences thing that are definitely like a non-biased thing, and like whenever a woman wants to enter sciences here, it's not like a topic of, oh no, she's a woman. It's a topic of, oh, totally, like she should totally get into the commission and be a part of it. And
that's very good, actually.
Exactly, it is really. And as a scholarship holder during my studies in Germany, we had like a meeting of scholarship holders, and I got to know a woman that is how can I say, like a scientist at the Bulgarian Academy of Sciences. She's an alchemist, and she was also doing like some kind of research in Germany, and she was telling me about all of her female colleagues and like about their team, and I was so happy to hear about this all-female team like doing some research in Bulgaria, because like from what I've seen in my scientific fields in Germany, and also I live in the dorm which is on the engineering campus, and it's like 70 in Germany, it's like 70 or 80% men, like really? Very little women, and if there are women, they're from another like it's not really exactly a university that is, but it's like a high school in a way. It like gives you a similar graduation as a bachelor's, but it does have like a little bit more of a practical orientation. And there's this audiovisual kind of school doing these things, and there are more women in there, which balances out the dorms on the campus. But other than that, like there are just men, like just young men engineers, and like even in my course we were like 300 people started approximately, and from them like 30 were women, or like 40 the max.
Oh, this is 10-12%.
Yeah, 15 max, like really not much.
Wow, that's crazy. So it's funny that they put another school in the dorm to make it equal.
Yeah, like it's just like a dorm that is eligible for any type of student, and it just happens so that this like audio media school happens to be on the same campus but on the other side, but it looks in a totally different way. It's like modern, it has like I don't know, like a machine for soda and like interactive boards and everything. When they go in the university, the engineering campus, which is like 5 minutes away from there, everything is like the Bauhaus style, like everything is quadratic, very gray, very plain, very mathematical. And they're like
the architecture is so talkative, like
like blackboards with chalk, and just like men in the how do you say that, like with buttoned up shirts, and like
really?
The pants, like just like the typical type of like academic men that you would see, that you would imagine as a professor.
So fun. But like you're so right, representation is so interesting, and this is one good thing a country can do. Like it's very good that you have this in Bulgaria, honestly. Yeah,
I'm also happy about it. I hope that there will be even more of it in the future, and a better pay,
awesome.
Potentially.
If you could do one thing to reduce gender inequality in your country, what would that be? If there would be like one measure, or like one...
Reducing one measure? I would put a censorship to hate speech towards minorities in media.
Amazing.
If I could do that, because I think that really like a lot, the media nowadays, at least in Bulgaria, is one of the strongest governing forces in a way, because they shape the way of thinking of people, and when they have a certain field of focus, that's what people get to hear, get to know, what goes on in their consciousness. And I think like if hate speech towards the pride is spread, and also like on Facebook in general, I wish there was some kind of a tool that in general like follows the IP addresses of Bulgarians on like Facebook and social media, and like just bans or like not allows hate comments. I know that there are some algorithms that are working on it, but because of the Cyrillic, because we write with Cyrillic, it's hard for the algorithm to catch that hate speech, because it doesn't translate it. It just usually analyzes for English or like for the Latin languages.
So interesting.
So hate speech can be a lot more easily spread throughout Facebook and stuff, because people just write it Cyrillic.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Okay, so Bulgarian listeners, maybe like if you want to develop an algorithm that can
please do
analyze speech for hate speech, that would be awesome.
I'm even gonna say mola, which is like the Bulgarian please. Please do it.
Mola. Awesome. All right, now going towards another part of the interview will be like, what is your own personal definition of feminism?
My own personal definition of feminism. Wow, I have so many ideas in my head, and I don't know how to form them into one sentence. My personal idea of feminism would be definitely the people, no matter if they're men or women, seeing each other as equal, and especially, of course, as it is feminism, like it has the woman concentrated as a field of focus. I would definitely say like the woman being equal to the man and to any other type of human being, that she does not have less of a right to be a person with a good income when it comes to the terms of profession, a woman with passions, a woman that can also have all the good and bad qualities and everything that is human and that makes men to be also women. So basically to not be thinking in boxes about anyone that identifies as a person of the feminine gender.
Well, that's a very complete answer.
Thank you. And to protect those rights also is for me also feminism, because feminism is not just to make the difference, but to also call out on the people that don't do it.
Yeah.
For me,
you're right.
Way.
Yeah, active,
exactly.
For sure. Do you consider yourself a feminist?
I would very much hope so, but I think I also have a lot of work to do still, a lot of education to do, but I really hope I'm going in the right direction.
I'm sure you are. Oh my god! Like on what I see, like
I really hope so.
Of course.
Some of my closest friends are feminists. Even one of my best friends from Brazil, from Rio, she considers herself a radical feminist, and through her, I've gotten educated on many of the things.
Amazing.
Thankfully, but of course, I have a lot more to read and time to invest in there, and there are ways to be better, and I'm definitely going to try.
That's amazing. How do you express your feminism?
I express my feminism, I would say, by existing and being and engaging in conversations and putting my opinion out there into the void to people that don't share it, or to people that make, how can I say, conservative comments about women, or say like that women's place is in the kitchen, or women's place is raising children, or like why is she do? For example, even with my studies, I would say like as an aerospace engineer, like I've heard from so many people like, oh, this is such like a masculine profession. I'm like, why is it a masculine profession?
Really?
Yeah, many times everybody's like, well, no woman would be studying engineering, and I'm like, actually there are quite a few, and we're doing quite good with it. Like I don't see why, like being a woman should in any way define what my passions are, and like how planes are meant for boys and Barbies are made for girls. Like this is a stereotype that is 200 years old, or maybe 50, 60, 70. So let's leave it there, I would say.
I love the answer. The few days I spent with you, like even your two friends, we can talk about them, Alexander
and Kira. Yeah,
they're like very safe also. Like, and Alexander is a cis guy, cis man, but he's also
such a soft, like he's more of a feminist than I am, even in some ways, I think. Yeah,
he's a good ally, I think. He's we talked about this a bit, and so that's amazing. And of course, existing like like being a woman in science is still today, which is very sad. It's a thing, and that's amazing, especially in this industry. I mean,
Indeed.
it's gonna change, I know, but for now, you know, you're inspiring like many young girls, and that's amazing.
I'm really hoping that it's not an act of rebellism, but more of a, hey, actually, I can also totally do that too, because I think there are women that really would want to do these things, but because of all the bias, because of all the things that their families are saying, like, you should become this and that and not this and that, because that's not a women's profession, they give up on their dreams and passions and follow something that they end up not being happy about, but it's something that mom and dad wanted, and that's not what life is about. It's about what you want, so you just have to figure it out on your own over time.
I feel like you had a good model at home also, like your parents were...
I really think, that I was very lucky with my family, and I really, really love them, and I think that if there's some tolerance, I guess, like, you of course shape your own opinions by what you read, by what you choose to do, but also your field. Like, you don't choose your family, and I was just like very happy to have a great family that has been very, 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 how can I say, supportive and teaching me like just very normal, basic human things that are not biased in any boxes, in any like this is female, this is male. Like, obviously, like they were like, when I taught to them when I was like graduating in 12th grade, I was like, I want to do something with airplanes, maybe become a pilot, maybe an engineer. They were like, yeah, totally, it's not going to be easy because it's science, just because it's like a heavy thing to study, but totally, like, you can go do it and we're going to support you no matter what. And 4 years in, they have been doing this unconditionally and all the time. And without them, actually, it would not have been where I am right now, totally. I really
that's
love
so
them.
cool. Do you consider yourself well surrounded?
Well surrounded, in terms of people, in terms of... I would say most definitely. Like, most definitely, I'm a very lucky person with the people I have around me, with my friends, with many of like my dorm mates. I live with 9 other people in a dorm. And
this is true.
It is a very wild living situation that I absolutely love every inch of. And yeah, I'm very lucky and grateful. And of course, we also choose the people that come close to us in a way. Like, of course, you don't choose who you live with, but in a way that there are interviews for the dorm, you kind of do. And I'm very content and happy with the friendships and people that have marked my life and mark my life. And even you guys that I met in the Olymp, like, this has been such a lucky moment, like meeting someone at 2,100 meters in a very random state between winter and summer. Like, you see the sea, but you also see the snow, and you were eating spaghetti bolognese and drying your clothes from the pouring rain. It connects, like, that connects you, but it brings you close as glue, like as probably not many other things can. Like, I don't think if we just had met at a random cafe or something strung around the city, we would have like had such long conversation. Because we went down, we went up, we went all the way to Bulgaria from Greece. Then
we ended up in the car going to like in the mountains in Bulgaria from Greece.
Just making random pit stops at some pyramids and drinking wine and stuff. I would say it's quite good experiencing the Bulgarian party of people that were just dancing around and joining them. And for your part, for your part, being
I felt so much at home. Like, I was, that was so
Balkan
awesome.
Party, I'm in. You were very much enthusiastic about it.
Oh my god.
Which I loved, absolutely.
That's amazing. And I think also a beautiful encounter, a beautiful meeting. I'm so glad
I'm very grateful and happy. I'm very grateful.
The whole group has been such a good energy, and we've
such a light vibe.
A lot. Like,
we work very well. I really wish we could like totally live our plans and stuff and come with you to Istanbul and eat all the baklava in the world. True, there is actually a chance of it happening. True. Let's see where it takes us. Maybe there will be part 2 of the interview with Kira and Alex in Istanbul. God knows.
We'll see. Awesome. Did you experience sorority and sisterhood, I should say more? And if so, in what ways?
I would say that I have not had much contact with it so far in my life until now.
Okay.
Of course, there are like some activist groups that I don't know how close that is to a sisterhood and to a sorority, but I think it's the closest that I have ever gotten in touch with. So I'm not too educated on that topic, and I just know, I think, more from like even movies, I would say, than or like documentaries, than out of personal experience about it. Yeah.
Sisterhood is like in I'm not sure it's the right word, like in a common sense, like for example a woman handing you like a pad when you're in the toilets, because like this kind of, you know,
this
like
type of thing,
like women helping and
oh my god,
sharing each other.
this is like such a thing, and this is one of my favorite things on earth. This is one of the things that absolutely makes me proud and happy being a woman, because like there's this unspoken language of solidarity between women that is just like, I'm gonna help you out no matter what. And there was even this meme somewhere on Instagram that I saw, was like, life is so wild, I went to the party and in the bathroom I offered a girl like a rubber band for her hair and she invited me to her wedding. Like this is like the thing to experience as a woman, you know, like people are just so helpful, and people, not women, women are so nice and helpful and like empathic, and like they've thought about things that you might need before you've thought about them yourself. Like
so true.
I've had this so many times with my friends, like I don't know, we're like cooking something or like doing something, and like she has thought, or like they have thought 5 steps ahead what we will need, what for any type of situation that it gets cold, in case like the electricity goes out, in case whatever happens. They've thought of all of it and have like solutions for it, and like bring stuff to you, for you as well, like for example an extra sweater or something. It's like super, that's one of the best things about women, being like women.
I agree so much. God, thank you, that was awesome. All right, would you like to change or to add something to your definition of feminism that you gave before? Even though it was perfect, but I always ask this because then we talk and
there could be some things adding up and coming up to it. Well, I wish more people were feminists in this world, is what I'm going to add. It's just like something that I aspire and really hope and wish for the world to happen, because it will be a better place with more empathy and more of the qualities that women carry and are and represent.
I agree so much. So cool. If you could say something to your past 10 years old, what would that be?
Continue believing, continue doing, and follow your inner child, which is coming back to that one question a few minutes ago. Or just like follow your intuition, your internal clock and compass.
That's amazing. All right, so there's gonna be our final question.
Ooh, the best comes for last, maybe?
As a Bulgarian person, as a Bulgarian woman, what message would you like to share to other women and people from gender minorities around the world?
I would say that we're in the beginning of a fight that we have to lead in a way. And the fight would not be a physical one, it would be a verbal one, a political act, but it's one that should be led further. And the message would be, if you see misogyny happening on the street and you feel like in a situation where you can do something about it, do something about it. And even saying like one sentence, of course not all situations allowed, but if the situation is allowed, even one sentence can change the way like the victim of potential how do you say it, like I lost my train of thought. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. The victim of a potential abuse, like even their own mindset could change in a way, and even like the change begins from within and from us ourselves. Like we can't wait for it to just happen naturally. We have to participate actively in it. So go and say things and be feminist, and go educate yourselves, read, and do whatever you can to show to the ones in this world that don't know it yet that we are all just humans.
Wow, that's a perfect way to... You gave me the... How do you call it?
The goosebumps.
The goosebumps.
Thank you. I'm very happy that you're feeling as well what I'm saying. That this is a shared, like a very shared moment. I'm very happy for this interview, because it feels like really just a conversation we're having over a coffee, and just like just a balcony conversation somewhere, you know?
In our Bulgarian home, like.
I wish we could describe to the listeners the vibe. Like, for example, this cat that is there sitting on the motorcycle and cleaning itself. The vineyards that are falling down from the building.
The nice smells and everything.
Yeah.
I don't want to leave Bulgaria.
You will come back.
I will come back.
And she will be welcoming you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you as well. It was such a pleasure and honor to be a part of your podcast. I hope to hear all of the episodes and everything that is going to be going on and is going on in the future on all platforms.
It was Sun Sister Podcast. Thank you for listening and see you next Friday.